Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see Viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
Alright, so we're gonna take care of the problem feeders, which are these Eyelash Vipers. But they do like geckos right now. So I will feed them geckos, and I will attempt at some point in the near future. Oh, we're doing a happy Eyelash Viper. I will in the future, work to transition them to frozen thawed pink mice, but right now again we're in like the 4th wave of COVID, this time Delta, and ending up in the emergency room with a snake bite, especially a foreign snake bite, is not good. My good friend and colleague on National Snakebite Support, Dr. Spencer Green in Houston, he says, hospitals are basically turning away copperhead bite patients simply because copperheads are considered to be non-lethal snake bites because the hospital's overflowing with COVID patients. So he said avoid any sort of snake bite at all costs, because it's you're gonna get, if it's not a rattlesnake or a water moccasin bite, no matter if you end up, partially disabled or disfigured from the copperhead bite, they're going to send you home right now. So obviously with these exotics, you really don't want to get bit by any of them right now. You don't ever want to get bit by any of them at any point. So we're trying not to handle snakes as much as possible, and like a true snake that doesn't really know what the hell it's doing, it's got the gecko in the middle and it's going to struggle with that, but we're going to leave it struggle and just not disturb it. So there's another one. Let me find, I'm working with smaller geckos for these guys because obviously larger geckos would be more problematic. So I will fish out another small gecko for number 8. And he ate, he's eaten geckos before, but I don't think he's going to do it on camera, so. It's hard to make a gecko look like it's alive rather than breakdancing like I'm making it. There we go.
All right.
So this is another nice little guy. He's an unusual color eyelash viper. Again, this is Bothriechis schlegeli. He might have a better chance at getting this down on the first try than the other one. And so we're going to let him go and eat, and now we're going to go with a few other snakes that are problem feeders. And of course we put a stick in there to press it up against the top of the cage, because these guys can get out even the tiniest crack. So I resurrected this program, which I purchased from a long time ago. It's a comprehensive database on your animals in the collection and stuff, and each animal has a unique number, as you can can see on the cage, what I call a DBZ number, a Deadly Beautiful Zoological number. And this allows me to keep track of the animals. And then here on this feeder pick list, which tells me how many types of the different food that I am going to require, and whether or not the animal ate or refused and such. So this makes things a little easier because no one gets overlooked and I don't waste feeders and stuff. As you can see, I've got at least 5 pages of feeding, and this is a typical weekend here at the lair. All different types of food, all different, you know, things. You know, some of these will get cannula fed, which is hands-on, which we really don't like doing right now, but, you know, sometimes you sort of have to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do what I call my gecko spit trick, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So what we're going to do is I've thawed out some pink mice, and I just threw a bunch of small ones just because I sort of want to get these guys sort of eating. And I've got a very large gecko here, and that large gecko is going to go to the probably the Angolan garter snake, even though I need to get him transitioned. So using the appropriate pair of forces, fortunately this one seems to be very easy to open its mouth. Sometimes these things, you need to call the fire department and get the jaws of life to open their mouth. So what I do is, you know, trying not to leave my fingerprints and my scent on the mouse, is we stick the head of the mouse in the gecko's mouth, and we coat it with gecko spit, as I call it, which is sort of scenting it for reluctant animals that will eat geckos but won't eat mice yet on a regular basis. And this wild-caught juvenile leucogaster number 8 prefers geckos. So what we're going to do is we'll present it to the echis, and we'll see if it is interested in eating it. It may not strike it, although that would be ideal. Sometimes, you know, echis are quite irascible, and I try not to tease them or bother them, but you know, I would like to get them to eat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that and go away and see if he eats it or not. So that's how gecko spit works. Now, no gecko goes to waste or anything like that. So we will see if our sandworm here is interested in eating. This is an Angolan garter snake. Now this is an elapid snake. It's not medically significant, but the people at the show where the snake was acquired were free handling it. And you know, you just don't free handle any venomous snake. Oh, there he comes. Roar! Now he won't eat it right away. These are true lapids. They have little pointy fangs there that's embedded in the poor gecko's chest right now, and he'll drag it under the substrate. Now these are fossorial snakes. I provided exactly what they need to thrive. Some substrate to hide in. There's a hot spot. There's a log for shedding purposes. There's a water dish. These are not terribly exciting snakes to have around because you never see them. It's why, you know, I used to have his Zinniop the Eyelash Vipers, but you never saw them. They were under the substrate. They really required some special conditions in order to thrive. So it's like, no, these are too much trouble, I'm going to get rid of them. So these are elapids. They're not medically significant, but you never underestimate the power of venom. Now, my friend Johan at the African Snakebite Institute said that these can cause some serious symptoms in addition to just local pain and swelling. They can also cause your classic neurotoxic symptoms if bit. So we don't take chances. Those idiots at the show that were free handling them, well, okay, there's lots of idiots around the world today. We can see that just by the state the world is in right now. And I was telling Lori the other day about my friends in Australia. My first visit to Australia, they took me out snake hunting, cruising at night, and I was cruising the road with them, and we found a bandy, which is an elapid in Australia that has a peculiar behavior when it's encountered. It sort of loops and throws its body all over the place, and they went and they picked it up like it was a harmless snake. Again, it's a elapid, and the famous last words came into play. They picked it up and they handed it to me, and I said, no, I'm not holding that snake, it's an elapid. And they go, oh, they never bite. And no sooner the words were out of the guy's mouth, it tried to bite him. So we never take chances like that, even in the best of times. Snake venoms, have, especially these non-medically significant ones, you never know what's going to happen. There's, I got nipped by a coral cobra, and I only had local cytotoxic effects. I had a very sore finger for 3 or 4 days. But some other guy, same species, lubricus, like I have here in the lair, he got bit. He ended up in ICU with full-blown neurological paralysis and stuff. So we don't screw around with snakes here like the other idiots on YouTube. You shouldn't really patronize their channels because, they're the ones that are screwing up the hobby, and, this is going to become illegal in every state in America, and you're not going to be able to keep Venomous as a private individual. The time is coming, and it's very soon. So at any rate, this is our Angolan garter snake, sandworm from Dune sort of a guy. The female will eat pinky mice. He's not quite at that level yet.